There is a space within you, within me, within all of us that is untouched by the fire. When you're walking through the fire of your old self that was built on survival, shattering and burning up, and walking into this new paradigm of your life that is more aligned, it can feel like, I don't even know if this is worth it. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. This is too painful. I want it to stop. I want to go back. I want to grab onto something else. I want to disassociate. I don't even know who I'm going to be on the other side. The confusion, the fear, the resistance, it can feel like your brain is going a mile a minute and you're completely overwhelmed. But there's a space within you, in your heart, that is beyond the story, that is beyond the thoughts. It's behind all of that, where you can see that this is a process that you experience, but it is not you. You are not the process. You are not the thoughts. You are not the pain. You are not the suffering. And breathing into that heart space sometimes is the only way that we recapture the light at the end of the tunnel. Man, the trips that we take in a human life, the times in our lives that we have to walk through in certain periods, can be super hard and super heavy, and they can feel like fires that are just burning you alive, and you just don't want to keep going. This is the main reason that most people don't do this work. They don't do shadow work. They don't want to walk through those fires. They do everything they can to try to make it easier and just disassociate from it and escape it, right? But that's the reason you see most people not change, right? That's why you see so many people repeat the same cycles over and over and over again, the same loops, being around the same people. They'll get divorced 3 times, keep dating the same type of person, the same energy just comes back over and over and over again. We all come to points in our journeys where we're at a fork in the road with ourselves. We're operating in a structure that was built on something inauthentic, whether that, and I don't mean inauthentic in the sense of just fake, I mean inauthentic that we had to become somebody to survive, right? Whether that was trauma, whether that was pain, whether that was the way you were brought up to be, the way you were taught that you get love, right? This is the way you have to be. And we come to a fork in the road. Oh, everyone has these. Everyone has a billion of them, right? You always have a billion opportunities. We come to a fork in the road where our old self is no longer starting to fit to where we want to go. But in order to get to where we want to go, we have to start embodying something that we've never embodied before. And that's terrifying. That's scary. The gap of comfort and familiarity is big. It's a scary gap. It's like trying to jump over an abyss, right? And it feels, when you're doing it, like jumping into an abyss. But I think of the quote, I think it was Truman. I think Truman said this, but no, it wasn't Truman. It was Roosevelt. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. Honestly, if it wasn't Roosevelt, then I'm an idiot. But I think it was Roosevelt. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. And I think that is especially true in dealing with these moments in our lives where we're being asked to evolve and expand into a scary unknown, wading into uncharted territory for the first time, of becoming a new self, becoming a new version of yourself. It's terrifying right up to the point where you finally just make the choice, and then everything gets better. But going up to it is so terrifying because your nervous system is convinced that you're gonna die if you do it, right? Because it developed itself in such a way for you to survive whatever you needed to survive, to get what you needed to get out of life. But now you're not getting what you need anymore, right? You're stuck. You're stuck in a loop. You're experiencing the same things that are now dissatisfying you, that aren't making you feel good. Now you're not feeling as loved. You're not feeling as whole. You're not feeling as respected. And you're starting to want those things from yourself. You're starting to want those things within. I want to respect myself. I want to love myself. I want to feel that from other people. And as we know, you need to become it to see the reflection. And so, where that leaves us is the question of, if I get to this fork in the road and I decide, okay, I've had enough, I've suffered enough, I've been in this loop for too long, I've been through too many relationships. When we get to that point and we want to make that choice, the question becomes, how do I go through this process, this fire that is just burning up all that I've held on to without just completely breaking to the point of not being able to function? How do I keep myself going? How do I not give up? How do I keep moving forward? And it's an important question, because I'm going to be real with you. I'm not here to tell you that it's going to be easy. I'm not here to tell you that, oh, just, it's going to be fine. Like, it's better on the other side. Yes, it will be better on the other side. I am speaking from experience. It's better on the other side. But the real truth is, it's hard and it hurts and it's difficult. And there's a billion moments where you want to stop. And there's a billion moments where you want to give up, and you'll reach for the thing that helps you disassociate a thousand times. You'll even jump off the path and try to go back and do it again. But what I can assure you is, once that process starts, it won't stop. And this is why I say awareness is 85% of the battle. Because once you're aware of something, it's really hard to keep doing it. Once you're aware, like, okay, if you think, oh, I get myself into bad situations, right? If that's just a thing you become aware of, every time you get yourself into a bad situation, it's going to become increasingly harder to keep doing it, because you're too aware of it. You're too, like, now you're conscious of it. Now you're thinking about it. And it's like, well, okay, how can I consciously keep choosing to do that? At a certain point, you probably will for a little bit out of habit, but once that process starts, you're going to keep going. You're not going to keep going because you feel like you have to. You're going to keep going because somewhere in your body that you deserve it. Somewhere in your body that you deserve to feel love towards yourself, that you deserve better, that you deserve respect, that you deserve to live a fulfilling life, because it is your birthright. It is your birthright to be joyful. It is your birthright to be peaceful. It is your birthright to experience physical reality in a way that brings you excitement, in a way that feels like an adventure. And so many of us don't live like that. And we don't live like that because a lot of us were brought up in a paradigm that taught us that life was dangerous, that life was something to survive, that life was something to get through and get your piece and get out, or it was something to try to carve out a little box of safety so that you can be okay until you can get through it, right? We weren't taught to live in the moment, to appreciate every moment, even touching a wall in your house, something that is so insignificant to so many of us, and like, you don't even notice that, but just like the experience of touching something is a profoundly beautiful thing to appreciate. Like, wow, i'm I'm physical, I have a body, I get to experience what physical life is like a childlike innocent wonder. And it's our birthright. We are souls having a human experience, a physical experience. But we're so stuck. We're so stuck in feeling like we're just the fragile, puny ego human. We lose our wonder. And so I can speak from experience, right? I've been through this process that I speak of in pretty brutal ways. My experience with having to walk through this fire in my way has been coming from a lot of childhood trauma and abandonment wounds and suffer. Like, I feel like I've emotionally suffered like all my life. Like, it was a very familiar state for me, is just struggle, like internal struggle. Not always like, you wouldn't always see that from the outside, but my whole life, just I was never not just internally emotionally struggling constantly, chaos, right? And through my experience, my first experience with real betrayal from somebody that I really needed to be a sense of safety and security for me, that brought up all of those wounds that I spent my whole life trying to get through, trying to avoid, trying to move on from, trying to just get out of my system. That brought up everything in such a way that it pushed me into this process against my will, really, right? It pushed me into this process. And I think that happens with a lot of us. We get pushed into the fire. And when we're in it, what I can say is there's so many moments that you are really lost in the story. You're really lost in the trip of it, right? But for me, it was like, oh, like just not being able to get out from under these 1,000-pound thoughts constantly just hammering me, boom, 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 about, like not being enough, or why did this person betray me, or did this person ever love me, or what are they doing, do they still care about me, are they still thinking about me, all these things are just so, like, all that trauma from childhood just coming up so much all the time, right? And it's so easy to get stuck in the story aspect of it, like what's happening, like I'm this guy suffering and I need to get here and this is happening and I need to heal from this and I need to change from this and I need to, like, you get so stuck in like wanting to just get through it and wanting to evolve and wanting to change and wanting to do better for yourself and all this stuff. But the possibly dissatisfying answer is that there's nothing to change. There's nothing to heal. There's nothing to figure out. That's a big one. Your mind, your survival mechanism is trying so hard to just make sense of this process that you're just being broken down. And for me, it was right the ending of a relationship that triggered that whole thing. But it could be so many things. It could be anything for anybody. Everyone's different. Everyone's got a different journey, but we have similar things we're doing here, right? We have similar timelines, similar purposes, similar reasons for existing. And we have similar journeys sometimes in terms of what those journeys are about. But what we can do to get through this trip, to get through this story, to keep moving, allow needing to stop, allow disassociating, allow trying to figure it out, allow being stuck to be an integral part of the process. It's a very, very important part of the process. All the pitfalls and traps are important. You're going to fall into all of them. But that's important because every pitfall and every trap you go into is illuminating a way that you've been avoiding the entire thing your entire life in the first place. It's a way that it's a mechanism being exposed, right? So for me, right, I went through this thing and I immediately just started trying to grab onto a new connection as fast as I could. And then that comes crumbling down and just mirrors the same thing, another bad feeling of like abandonment or something like that. What it does is it gives you the information you need about yourself. And so trust each portion of that, trust each part of the process that you experience. But the place that we can always come back to, and we should always come back to, is the place in ourselves that cuts through the story. The place in ourselves where we aren't just the person going through this whole narrative shattering of the self, dark night of the soul. There's a place in us that never left God. There's a place in us that never left the non-physical. There's a place in us that is consistently there and present. And I promise you, even though it doesn't feel like much and it feels like it's fleeting a lot of the time, and it feels like it may not be enough and it doesn't fix it. And it doesn't fix it. It doesn't fix the feelings because the feelings need to be there to help you burn it up. They have to be there. But what makes it just bearable enough is the moments where we can breathe through the heart, and just come back into that space where it's all perfect again. Where you're not just this separate self stuck in this process. You're a part of it all. You're so much more. You're one with everything. You are as much a part of everyone else as you are yourself, where you can experience, once again, just real love, real connection. And I'm not saying interpersonal love and connection, but connection to it all, real love being embodied. And the moments that we can do that will get us through, not because they make us feel better. They'll make you feel better momentarily, but they don't take it away. But those moments help you to anchor every time it just becomes too much. Remembering that this is a process that is here for you to embody all that you know you've envisioned your whole life, for you to become the person that you really want to become the person that's authentic to you, to become the person that doesn't have to survive anymore, to really change. And when you can just in moments meditate, breathe through the heart, breathe out, breathe through the heart and breathe out, you'll feel that there's just tsunamis of non-physical love just jumping to be there for you, jumping to remind you that it's okay and that this is important and that you're doing it. And it takes courage and it takes strength and resilience, and you're doing it. You're doing something that most people don't. That's all you need to just keep going, to keep pushing. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. But I promise you, as somebody who has done it, it was worth every second. And I wouldn't change a second of it. And I will say, like, I experienced really intense pain, man, really intense isolation and disconnection and heartbreak. And I I look at pictures of myself. I listen to things I recorded a year ago or even a little less, and I don't recognize myself at all. And there's something more beautiful on the other side of it. And also just remembering that what you're changing, what you're looking to change is energy. You're looking to enter a new energetic paradigm for yourself. You're looking to enter a new space where you literally can experience a different reality from a different lens. And when you look around and you look at the things that are falling out of your life, you're looking at the things that don't work for you anymore. It's because all the things that you're seeing, the things that don't resonate with you anymore, the people that don't resonate with you anymore, the people that are making you start to feel like, I don't know if this is for me anymore. You'll start to see that it's because all the people that you've attracted into your life are a mirror of the chaos that you've lived in. They are living in chaos. Their energetic field is chaos and dysfunction, not just who they are as a person, or not that even they're a horrible, bad person or something, but just that their default mode is chaos and dysfunction because your default mode was chaos and dysfunction. And so you resonated with them. But they need to fall away because you are moving out of chaos and dysfunction. And you're going to attract people who aren't chaotic and dysfunctional. But you need to choose that energetic field. You need to keep trusting that process. That river is going to take you to an energy that serves you better, that is more aligned with who you are, and that most people don't want to allow themselves to be carried to that river or by that river. And so be wary. A lot of the pitfalls and the traps that come are from energetic fields you see in your life that are interacting with you, and they're starting to push you further down your path because you're seeing you don't want to be there anymore. You don't want to be sucked into other people's chaos and dysfunction when you're trying to move on from yours. The process is the process, and it's an important process, and just keep going. That's all I can say is just keep going. And when you don't think you can keep going, you're going to keep going. I promise you. You're going to keep going, and it's going to be worth it. And every single moment of it, just let it happen and trust that there's a non-physical part of you that knows, that is watching, that knows what's happening and is doing it for you, doing it to help you. Your higher self is doing this for you. And it is enough to just let that process mold you into who you already are. But you just don't realize that you're already it. You don't need to heal. You don't need to change. You don't need to transform. You just need to open to the flow, to the river, to the Tao, to the process, to God that is molding you into what you see in your visions. And if you're like me, if you came from a background of toxic situations, toxic upbringings, and trauma bonds and things like that, and that was also your path to initiation, click this video because I talk all about trauma bonds and why they don't work and why they actually lead us to these places of suffering that I've been describing. Wishing you peace, love, and all the best.